Hello, welcome everyone. This is our third decan for the month of Taurus. We are May 11th today, May 11th to May 21st, wrapping up the month of Taurus. So I'm going to share with you our key emphasis for this third decan during this week. So if anyone has had birthdays during the first two previous decans, our first decan was April 21st to April 30th. Happy belated birthday. Second decan, May 1st to May 10th. Happy belated birthday. And then this week, May 11th to the 21st. Happy birthday to all my fellow Taurean brothers and sisters who are born during this month. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to be talking about this last decan, and then we're going to go back to our previous decans and see the transition from our first decan of steadiness and grounding to our second decan of prosperity and abundance. And then here in our last decan of patience and how we work with these attributes during this month of Taurus, our last week. So as always, I use the Unified Esoteric Tarot. And this is representing our last decan. See if this is going to focus very well. There we go. Okay, so we have patience. The planet of influence, as you can see here in this card, Saturn. Saturn connects with the Unified Esoteric, the three earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And so for this decan, we're going to focus on the energy of Saturn, which is of discipline, time, restrictions, limitations, those forms of energy during this week. And we are going to talk about its minor arcana of influence, the Seven of Discs, or Seven of Pentacles. So I'm going to walk through that, and then we're going to go back to our previous decan. So we have here Saturn and Taurus. Taurus is already a fixed sign. It is actually quite at home to a certain extent with Saturn, because Saturn is ruled by the element of earth. So everything with Saturn is of structure. Everything has a form. Everything has an energy of being things, having things done due in time. And that's what I want to focus a little bit with, because Tauruses they're known for patience. And one of the traits of being patient is allowing that time of Taurus to really focus on what they're working on, what their specific goal is, not to have any outside distractions. Taurus is a sign for some people from the outside. They look like they're kind of cold, that they're a little bit aloof. You can't really tell what's going on with them. Is because they have that focus. They don't want to be distracted. They need to have that space to think, to breathe, to see, to feel, to taste. Taurus is of all the senses. So with all of those five senses working and getting influence towards what they're working for, Saturn provides that influence to give Taurus what they need to have that self-discipline and to place themselves in an environment where it is actually maybe seen by others to be a little restrictive, a little bit limiting. Tauruses that are artists and creatives, they like to have their own space. They like to have this space where it's theirs. They can be creative in their environment with no distractions. So it's very important to have that kind of environment as a foundation to start working upon where you want to throw your intention towards, and ultimately have it be successful. So Saturn in Taurus gives that needed boundaries for Taurus to do what they need to do to get things done. And that makes sense. As a Taurus myself, Western sign Taurus, I definitely need space, quiet. Like I said, no distractions. Is of importance, and if anything comes in and throws that off, it ruins that flow. It ruins that concentration on moving forward. So that's where we have the patience, and also patience within ourselves. If we do have outside influences that come in and disrupt, how do we handle that? How does Taurus handle outside disruptions? They'll handle it to a certain degree, but if it gets really disruptive for them, it will start manifesting in a physical sense where maybe they'll be like, be quiet, or they'll create something where they don't have to hear noise if it's in their environment, or they move, they leave, they go to a place where they can find what's needed. That's their comfort. Patience is very important when it comes to all the senses. Taking the time to really settle in with what we're experiencing, what we're seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling, hearing. Okay, so let's go right into the Seven of Discs, Seven of Pentacles. I have my usual Tarot of the Holy Light, and the other three cards that I have coming in as guest stars appearances is from the Lumina Tarot, Dreams of Gaia, and I've been introducing slowly the Oak Ash and Thorn since we're in spring, and Oak Ash and Thorn is a very animal-centric, nature-inspired deck. So I'm going to be working a little bit more with this deck and showing it on posts. So here we have, this is our Lumina Tarot for our Seven of Pentacles. So with our Seven of Pentacles here, through the Lumina Tarot, we have, it's more or less the quality of one's life. We have here a desert cactus. Okay, so on the outside, when you look at a desert cactus, it's very rough. It's very strong. It has the needles to protect anything from outside to destroy or to wear down. Weather-wise, I mean, that's the ultimate destruction for cactuses. If it's lots of water, rain floods, snow, freezing temperatures, they can still withstand. So this is showing the sturdiness and and the patience through different elements, through different circumstances that the Lumina Tarot for the Seven of Pentacles has. It's showing the qualities of one's life when pursuing their goals. They may take a lot of risks. You also may want to also consider the time and energy that's been put into what you're looking for. Are you really working so much, working so hard that you're not really taking the best care of yourself? And for the most part, Tauruses, they have this way of doing things, of working hard and putting a shell on the outside that they're strong, but inside, they're weakening a little bit. And so what you see on the outside could be something different that is being manifested or showing that's inside that individual. So it's a time to maybe consider shifts of how you've been working towards your goals, and just really assessing and just taking this time. Okay, here with the Seven of Pentacles, we don't see an abundance of flowers. We just see two daisy-like flowers coming out of this cactus. It's a process, and sometimes this is just enough. You put all this work, and this is the result as of now. Okay, so keep in mind, we're still halfway into the journey of the Pentacles here. With 7, we still have 8, 9, and 10. So we're starting to see that progress, but it's going to take time. The nutrients, the way that this plant is being taken care of in its own way, is in time and having patience. Sometimes this is it. You put all the work into it, and sometimes this is all what it produces, and this is good enough for where you want to be right now, focusing on those goals. So it's just baby steps, and just to be content with what is being produced at this time. Don't expect a whole bunch of abundance, because we're still on that journey. It will still take some time. Okay, so again, consider the energy that you're putting in, the time that you're investing into what you're going into with your goals. Are you putting a lot of work into it? Maybe expelling too much energy into it, putting too much time? Look and see how things are progressing. Okay, if you're getting close to your timeline, or feeling like you're getting close to where you need to finish achieving your goals, and nothing has been in fruition, that's where you have to take a moment to stop and take a step back to see really what's missing. How come you're doing all this work and nothing's being produced? Something is missing. With the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, I'm going to show these two cards side by side, because they are different form, and the Dreams of Gaia. There are different forms of connecting to nature. So let me go here. I have to move this because this camera is just not focusing. Here is our Oak, Ash, and Thorn. So here's an example of our Seven of Pentacles, but in a restful state. So we're seeing the hair is symbolic of multiplication, great abundance, fertility. But here we're seeing the process where this individual is taking a time out. Things are already progressing. We're already seeing the Pentacles, the abundance coming forward. But also, it's almost a form of protection. This creature is surrounded by its by its own work. And I feel like these two energies are almost in unison with each other. They're supporting each other in the sense that all the work that the hair has put in, all the work that the individual has put in, is right there in front and around them. So that when you're taking this moment, this break, you can look and see. You can see how things are shaping. You know, when you take time away from something that you're working on, been working hard on, take time away and you come back, you will see if you have to make any changes. And any changes that need to be made, go ahead and do so, but keep moving forward. You don't want to drastically change anything. There's a reason why you got to this certain point, and things are feeling good, looking good. You don't want to change that. Don't fix anything that isn't broken, correct? So we want to maintain that energy. We want to stay grounded. We want to stay connected to what we've been working with so far. Now, the dreams of Gaia. Okay. Let's say this is more of cosmic connection to nature. It's one of my favorite cards here. So here's 7 of Earth. This is from the dreams of Gaia. And this is one of the most earthly connections I feel in this deck to nature itself. But here, the connection is in the form of meditation, being literally grounded and just being still and taking in all these elements. We see the chakras being ignited. We see the snake, Kundalini energy. And interesting enough, here I'm just going to move forward. We're seeing the focus here on the solar plexus and the tail of the serpent wrapped around it. This is the emphasis. The solar plexus is of our creativity. Sacral is more of sexual energy, fertility. Root is just like our deeper selves, stuff that really needs to be worked on or is being worked on, and doing so, that's what keeps us grounded. So we're seeing this energy moving up. So here the focus is on the solar plexus, and doing so and being surrounded in this form of environment doesn't mean that you necessarily have to go out into the forest and be surrounded in that kind of environment. You could create the same energy in your home, in your studio, in your workplace. Okay, again, our key focus here for this decan is of patience. So let's use this week, our last decan, month of Taurus, in the best way possible of just still and patience. This time allows us to connect with ourselves and the 4 elements of nature: earth, air, water, and fire. And also here, just to point out, this is the tree of life. One representation of the tree of life is the body, us. And so as you see here in this card, we're seeing the connection of the body, mind, and soul. And the tree is actually above. This is our crown chakra. So we're slowly connecting to all of this to achieve this, the ultimate sense of feeling enlightened. Sorry, I'm just taking a real quiet moment here just to look at this card because it is filled with so much wonderful energy and it's healing. So again, we're connecting body, mind, and spirit. And this card through the forms of meditation and tranquility to get that stillness that a lot of us don't really get to experience as much. And breathing and hearing everything heightened in that realm of silence. So I spent some time with this card, the Dreams of Gaia. Very powerful card. Alrighty, so then our Tarot of the Holy Light. Okay, so this is going to be our esoteric perspective of the Seven of Discs. This card is representative of cultivation. How and what we bring into our realm to get what we want. Working again with the power of nature. And here again, we see the symbol of the tree. The tree is the desired goal. It embodies the body and the soul of the self. Okay, so we're seeing different depictions here of the connectedness of the external part of the human body and the inner part of the human body and soul. So we have the tree here, here we have it in the middle as our desired goal. And these here, these orbs, represent the planetary influences. And it's very detailed. This almost looks like the Decan wheel that we see for the tarot. The detail and the information in this card is so minute. It's really hard, even with a magnifying glass, as I go up close, to really see what's there. But to move along, here, the desired goal, the tree of life, is our guide. It's our symbol. This is what is needed to be accomplished. If you look at this, we're seeing a lot of growth. We're seeing growth and beauty. We're seeing this flourish. So we go up here and we're seeing these energetic influences of these different outside planets coming in together to shape and to guide us for our intention. Another thing too is that to emphasize throughout the Seven of Pentacles, I'm going to bring Dreams of Gaia in. This all takes work. It's just not sitting down and just being still. It's also letting go and releasing. This is work. It's not going to happen immediately. And so there's not really any shortcut. There's no secret way, quick way to get this happen. Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Discs, patience. This all takes time. When Tauruses work, they're building up upon something, and it takes their time. It takes time for that to happen. Tauruses is probably seen as one of the more slow-moving signs, but as they're building things to accomplish what they want, the end result is just magnificent because you start seeing all the work that was put into it, all the energy, and all the detail. If there's an emphasis in a material realm, all the work that they put in pays off. It may take some time, but that any knowledge that they're gaining, Any skills that they're applying to what they're working for, they're taking their time. They won't rush into it. You are willing to do the work in its entirety and work with the changing aspects of nature's energies. Okay, so there's going to be shifts, so you have to be prepared for the unexpected. And don't be so reactive. Taurus can be pushed, and if it's pushed hard enough, they will react, and they have to contain that. That's a weakness. It's learning not to work under different circumstances. Again, it's a fixed sign. It's not mutable. So once everything is set in its place, everything's in a certain flow, they like that. If a rock comes in and disrupts that flow and creates a big wave, then it can set them back quite a way. So it's keeping that focus, keeping that patience, being determined, and being dedicated, staying true to get to this beautiful state that we see here. It's also asking about self-sacrifice in the name of personal fulfillment. How much are we willing to risk release of ourselves to just focus entirely on what is of great happiness, spiritually, emotionally, physically, to feel like this? To keep things just very simple as things are building. The seven of Pentacles just overall is just a time to just really look at what has been done so far. And again, with Saturn and Taurus, we are focusing on the time aspect and influence of that planet in the sign of Taurus, learning to work within a certain guideline, a set guideline that maybe the individual created for themselves. And taking a break when needed. We can work ourselves too much, and doing so, we lose the perspective of our direction. It happens with workaholics. You just keep pushing and pushing. You started building something really nice, and you kept going. Then the tiredness, the fatigue comes in. Always take a break. You owe yourself that. How do we utilize this moment, right? When we stop, if we're in studies, if we're learning a skill and we're applying what we've learned and we're applying our skills, and we get to a crossroads, what do we do? This is a time to take a break, but it's a time not to give up. So we have to keep in mind that this is only temporary. Okay? This is the suit of Pentacles. Pentacles is building up to something. We're going to be seeing the outcome. Again, it's by the choices that we make, the actions that we take, and how we care for ourselves. This is also, we're in the moon in Taurus. It's also a time of self-care. So this Decan week, with our sun in Taurus, our moon in Taurus right now, and our seven of discs, Pentacles, Saturn and Taurus, influence this. And again, I got to emphasize, this is not our current placement where Saturn is right now. In Taurus, these are just guide cards. You can utilize this energy and see where the current planetary placement is of Saturn and all the astrological planets, if you're that advanced, and use it for this week. Apply the planetary placements currently where they are with the influence of Saturn and Taurus for this third decan. Again, this is not a time to stop and give up. Keep in mind, it's temporary. It's just allowing the mind, body, and soul just to take a quick respite and to revitalize the self. Whether it's physical, if you're feeling tired, just take that time out to take care of the inner self as well. If it's something that's involving more spiritual work and maybe you're pushing yourself too much, and that's always possible. You know, you work so hard towards building a practice and it ends up almost becoming forced. And you'll know when you're pushing your practice and when you're forcing it, when things just don't seem connecting anymore. It doesn't feel balanced. You're not seeing things clearly. That's when you have to stop, walk away, or be still, and just get to this place of being centered again. Oops. So I want to recap really quick because I have these other two decans. So yes, with the Seven of Pentacles, honor this week of taking time for yourself if you feel it is necessary. And again, this is only temporary. We're working within the time influence of Saturn, so it's not a time to lack and just, take an indefinite siesta. You have to return. You have to finish what you started. Again, one aspect is just to get all of this into perspective, investing the right amount of energy to reach your goal. Time will always be there, okay? And someone says, I'm going to be running out of time. There's no such thing as running out of time. Time will always be there. You set a goal, you have to finish something by 12 o'clock, and it's 11:58, and you're halfway into it. That's a conscious time frame. When it hits 12:01, 12:02, and you didn't make that deadline, time's still there. You could still finish it. It's just not going to be set at that time. I believe goals are there, but when setting a time frame, if you know you cannot honor it, if those expectations of completing a goal, intention, having success in that is not reachable, don't set a time frame. And I feel with Taurus, you don't ever want to put a time frame on anything, because anything can happen, and within those circumstances, time gets altered. You may get delayed, or you're going to have to speed things up, and that's something that Taurus doesn't like, because now it's like, okay, so now I lost, instead of finishing something in 5 days, and I have to finish it in 3 days, so now I have to double up my time, and it throws the way that Tauruses work. That patience gets challenged and it gets pushed, and it becomes all the directions, all the ideas that they had to finish this particular project or whatnot gets thrown off the wayside. And then now the rushing and that quality, which is so important for Taurus, gets lost. It's not about quantity, it's quality. Quality in the work that you put in, the time, effort, the details, How you work on that project will result in the outcome. And again, Taurus ruled by Venus, there's that influence of the Venusian energy of it looking really nice. It has to look nice, and it's going to take time. Okay, so let's back up. That's our third decan, May 11th to the 21st, which will take us right to Gemini. And for this week, we're focusing on patience. I'm going to move this here. Hang on a second. Okay. I have another screen set up, so I'm moving things around. So let's back up. Our previous decan, okay, so right now, third decan, 20 to 30 degrees, May 11th to May 21st. Our previous decan was prosperity. Okay, so prosperity, growth, abundance. And this was Ceres in Taurus. So I have all these decan readings set up, so you can always look back and read my or listen to my interpretation. So here, Ceres in Taurus is about, Ceres is an asteroid, and Ceres deals more with nurturing, our well-being, how we work with others, how we work within the community, how we connect to people, physically helping them out in that sense, emotionally helping them out, spiritually helping them out, inspiring someone. The influence with the Six of Discs is showing the end result, or not the end result, but the choice, the direction that was made with our previous decan of Five of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles shows, this is from the Lumina Tarot, shows that we decided to, with the struggles that we face with the Five of Discs, Five of Pentacles, we made the choices to work with what little we had and to create abundance in it through community, through reinvesting into things that were once invested in, but choices weren't made properly. This card is almost like the second chance. You have another chance to make these changes, and you want to do good with it. Here, this is the Forest of Enchantment. Here, this card is titled the Six of Boons. And we have an individual here who is in a challenging situation, but community came in, and the community came to the assistance of this person. So this is a card more of accepting, receiving help, receiving support when truly needed. And here we have abundance of rabbits. They're actually like right on top to console this individual, keep this person warm, giving them shelter in a sense by just keeping that body warm and protected. This is an example of how outside sources can be of influence, and receiving that prosperity in that sense. You become inspired by that. And also in turn, you want to give back. So the prosperity comes in from receiving, accepting, but also giving back. It's a card of when you're helping someone, you can't say you really hope, but you would like to see that individual to be in a better place, and hopefully they will utilize those sources in a way that's given to them that will benefit them, that will create their own prosperity and their own value of of self-worth. And then it gets passed down. You help one person, you made changes, you changed your perspective, your direction on things, you inspire people, and it goes down or up, I should say, the chain. You want to see this to continue on. So it's being supportive of each other, making it full circle. So that's prosperity. That was the Six of Discs. And this was from May 1st to May 10th, which we wrapped up yesterday. So we have here May 10th. It is just not going to focus, so I'm going to keep going. Our first decan to introduce the month of Taurus was April 21st to April 30th. And this was held not Venus in Taurus. Usually the first decan in each astrological month is associated, the planetary association is the planet that is assigned or related to that sign. So for instance, it's Venus in Taurus, but here with the Unified Esoteric Tarot, we have here Earth in Taurus. So it's steadiness. We're seeing the planet itself, Earth. Planet is made out of earth, air, fire, water, all those elements working together. And how we can balance all those elements to create the stability that we need. If not, then we create our own obstacles. I don't talk too much about the reverse of these cards. I should, but I focus so much on the upright meaning and the overall energy and influences of this card. But of course, if there is no understanding and working with these elements of nature, we're creating roadblocks. We're creating our own blocks for moving ahead, and we're going to create some imbalances. So we want steadiness. And our minor arcana card of influence is the Five of Discs. So as I mentioned in our previous, the Six of Discs. Six of Discs are the choices that were made that allowed us to move on from the challenging situations, the struggles that we would see with the Five of Pentacles. Here we have the Five of Pentacles. Almost giving up hope, not really finding that light during the time of challenges, not really seeing the resources that are here. We have these Five Pentacles that are above, and they're not being used in such a way that could change the situation. We have the apple. The apple is the symbol of fertility, creation, good health. The saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But here it's not, the apple is not being taken care of. And we're getting the core exposed, which is not in good shape. It's just the lack of self-care, the lack of awareness. Here again, this Five of Boons, Forest of Enchantment. Here we have two individuals. They are lost in despair, but they're not even seeing their situation. There's a house behind them. In the distance, the light's on, the door's open. And it's almost so obvious. We actually have a trail here that's like, hey, look, follow this. There's shelter right there. But they're looking at what little they have, and they're not finding that hope. They're not seeing that light that's there. And again, with the next card, Six of Boons, what are the choices that they're going to make? It's a challenging card. It's asking, what are you willing to sacrifice with what little you have to take that risk, to take that investment and put it into something that can save you out of that situation. Finding that trust within yourself. Okay, this is the dreams of Gaia. And here's the example of 5 of Earth. So it's interesting here, we're talking about steadiness with the 5 of Discs, or steadiness with the Unified Esoteric Tarot. Here's a different example. Here we're seeing deception. We're seeing misleading. We're seeing literally the sleight of hand move. And this card just shows, we see the individual who's just grayed out in the background. Looks like this person that was interacting was deceived upon, gave them the necklace and gave them a bad deck of cards here. Not trusting yourself, not listening to your intentions. This is the outcome of choices that were made where you were misled and you probably did not even see it. This is also a sign of someone who felt that maybe they could trust this individual and it didn't happen. So this card put them on the wrong path. And so now they will have to make amends and make the steps needed to regain what was taken away from them. This is, again, steadiness, awareness of your environment, who you're interacting with. You're building up that skill. I mean, if I was walking down the street and I had someone come up and who's wearing horns and says, "Hey, I got this gold watch that's only $10, and it's probably not authentic. It's probably not, more than likely it's not them. And the person's wearing horns. You can't get it any clearer." It's like, no. At least with me, it's not going to happen. You start building after a while when you're going through life and you've been deceived and you've gone through challenges. Once you've moved upon that, you gain that experience and you become hard. You become firm. Okay? Again, Earth and Taurus. You become firm in your ways and in your beliefs so that when you come across a situation like this, you know what to do. You know not to follow through, not to trust with this. So you can avoid being in a situation like this. Your health, not taking care of yourself. So that was the first decan from April 21st to April 30th. So that decan is like almost leading the way for the next 2 decans. Believing in yourself, avoiding situations that could put you in a bad decoration, in a bad direction. But making choices and trusting yourself and investing in what little that you have will lead to the prosperity. Being generous. Giving back to those who are giving you an opportunity. Take it. This was my decan this past week from May 1st to May 10th. I'm being given an opportunity and I want to maintain what's being given to me and do good upon it and give back to the community, help out, self-sacrifice if needed. And then now, in our last decan, from the 11th to the 21st, we're seeing the work that we've done, the choices that we've made. Now, how are we going to continue this balance of maintaining the stability, maintaining the foundation, making these right choices, trusting, expressing that. It's like, yes, I trust you, but knowing, but being firm, staying strong in your beliefs and in your values. And internally remaining connected to nature. Solar plexus. That's where we get these energies moving. And we start expelling it outwards. And maintaining control. Solar plexus is our core. And then above the solar plexus, we come here to the heart. And then the voice, our third eye, and then the crown. So be kind to yourself during this last week. Use Saturn and Taurus. Utilize the time. Take a moment to take a time out from whatever you're doing so you can take care of yourself if you feel it's needed. Take time to maybe step away from what you're working at and see it from a different perspective and just go, this is looking really good, or I think I need to work on this a little bit. Be honest with what you see and infuse what you're feeling back from what you've been investing in and working with that energy. Whatever you put in, it's going to come back. So you want to put goodness into it. So that wraps it up. That's our third decan for May 11th to the 21st, ending the last week of Taurus. And we went to prosperity before this, working with the community, making sacrifices, taking those risks, and to start off creating that foundation with the steadiness when we entered our first week of Taurus. 5 of discs. Alrighty. Have a wonderful week, everyone. This is my birthday week, so I will be back to do our first decan as we enter into Gemini. That will be May 22nd. I have to see what date that is, 22nd, 23rd. I will do a follow-up for that, and we're going to move out of our fixed earth signs into mutable air, Gemini. We're going to talk about communication, how we interact at that level with other people and also within ourselves, for healing, for understanding, for guidance, and how we want to express ourselves out to other people. All right. I will see you after May 21st. Have a wonderful week, everyone. I will see you all again soon.